Oh, hey everybody, it's Chuck. I'm back to do a first impressions drive, a little bit late. It got released while I was out of town for my son's commissioning last weekend in Atlanta. Did a lot of driving on it, on the highway mostly, and highway driving is great on version 11. I've really been confident with highway driving for a while. But this holiday update I've got is 2023 4430.3. There's a .2 out in the wild also, but this is essentially full self-driving beta 11.4.9. And I think I even saw another .4 released out there too. So maybe they're doing some A/B testing, but this is the version I've had for about a week now. I spoke to a few of you on X, and y'all said you still want to see a first impressions drive. So I'll go out and do a couple of my, primary features, maybe talk a little bit about some things that have been going on the last few weeks, and we'll get some of this put out there for you. All right, so here we go. We're going to start off with the typical unprotected left-hand turn, and it is not really rush hour right now, so it's about 11 o'clock. I do have single stock engaged, so I use a single click now, and pay attention to the road. So I've got my hand on there. I think that comes on every single time, even if your hand is on the wheel. Oh, hold on guys. My route is interestingly not going where I wanted to do because I got my route backwards. So I'm going to go ahead and back up just so I can not initiate this full self-driving right in the stop sign area. The app and the holiday update has quite a few new enhancements to it. First and foremost, the thing I love the most is I like the new side mirror notification. All right, here's our stop, and stopping for stop sign and creep. We do have a little bit of traffic coming, so let me show you here. It's not creeped out there yet. Got a good slug of traffic, so this is a good demonstration. There's the creep line. All right, no gap there. I think it needs to go further out because I'm leaning forward and seeing traffic that I know the B-pillar can't see. So it's doing a good job though. I mean, there's a small creep. That's the creep where I thought it needed to go because now it can see further down. It needs to wait on, it's going to be a little wait here. Car in the front now is controlling in the intersection where we need to go. Well, I said it wasn't going to be busy, but look at this. Our unprotected left-hand turn has got a perfect scenario to try here. I don't expect this to be any different. It has been going into the middle lane the last few versions. All right, so after this car here, this truck should go and we should roll. And it waited longer than I thought it would. And there it's going a little right. Is it going to stop? Doesn't need to stop. And into the middle lane. Okay, so there we go. That is, I'm editing the trip here to make the U-turn happen. It did a good job. It waited, it creeped a little slower than I think it did on the previous versions. I had an obstruction in the front, it waited on him. It probably could have rolled a little bit sooner than it did. All right, so now we have a U-turn mapped here. It has never done this successfully. I don't think it has the radius of turn to succeed here, but it's got it mapped. Let's see what it does this time. I put this in here just to give a benchmark to see if it ever changes. So in the past, see the steering wheel here going a little wide. Look at that. It's going all the way out to the right here. I don't have any cars coming. It's like it's trying to improve its radius of turn. But with that steering wheel angle, if it starts to go, I'm going to need to disengage just if there are cars coming, and I'm just looking in the rearview mirror to see. But you can see it's trying to map it. I can't tell if it's waiting on cars here or not. It's mapping them blue when they get close. A couple light blues there. Yeah. I don't think it's going to do it. So what I'm going to do, like I normally do, I'm going to wait on a nice gap here. Then I'm going to press the accelerator and just see if it'll do it on its own with the accelerator being pressed. If we get a gap. I don't know if you can see how close the car is to the line here with the steering wheel line kind of put out there. It's a little uncomfortable. All right, so I do have a gap here. So I'm going to go ahead and start pressing the accelerator right after these cars go. Okay. And, okay, so it took the turn. Okay, that's fine. I didn't expect it to do a U-turn. Sometimes I disengage. The reason I didn't disengage there was because of that oncoming truck. All right, we'll go ahead and put it in a position to do a unprotected right-hand turn here, which is pretty interesting in and of itself because it's got a unique oblique angle here. If you can see the map. See that pay attention to the road? That pops up every time now as soon as I engage. It's almost like it's a new warning. That is part of the NHTSA change, I believe. Or at least it's part of this holiday update that's here to address the NHTSA updates for driver attentiveness. So I think as soon as you engage it, you get that little warning and then it goes away. All right, it has room in the right lane if it wanted to go, but it's not going. I don't know if I can show you. There you go. There's a little bit of an angle. Okay. It's clear in the right lane. I would be going on my own, and it's inching out there, but it's hesitant. All right, so after this car, it needs to go. Go, go. Don't hesitate. Go, go, go. Okay, I don't know why it wasn't going with the speed it needed to for the cars that were oncoming, so it should have had more confidence on that turn, in my opinion. See, there's the pay attention to the road. I'm engaged. I have tension on the wheel, and even got a little bit of a blue there. That hesitancy there is a little frustrating, only because it's done better than that in the past. And honestly, I think it did better committing on my unprotected left-hand turn here than it did on that right-hand turn where the repeater camera had much better visibility. But it is what it is. Okay, so the next portion of our drive is going to be the narrow roads portion that has speed bumps and then, of course, the narrow unmarked roads. I don't have an override set here. I'm going the speed limit at 45, painfully slow. As long as I don't get too annoying, I'm just going to let it ride. If I get honked at, I might have to speed up just a bit. So while we're going to this next section, just a few things going on. At the end of 2023, for those of you that don't realize it, we had 16 full self-driving updates this year. When we crossed the new year last year, we were still on version 10.69. I believe it was 10.69.3. We had to wait until March 8th, which was kind of a long wait. I think it was 67 days between updates until we got our first version 11. And remember, version 11 was the single stack that brought the highway environment off of Navigator and Autopilot and into the single stack with full self-driving city streets and the UI. That was a pretty monumental impact to the full self-driving. I love it. I think most others that I've spoken to love it also. And then we've iterated on 11.3.3, I believe, was the version we were first given. I'm doing this off of memory. And then we went to 11.4, and we've been doing point releases on 11.4, honestly, since the summer. So here we are finishing the year on 11.4.9, and that's where we sit. Probably going to continue to get point releases until the version 12 is ready. So ironically, here we are, at the end of the year, hoping for version 12. Much like last year, we were hoping for version 11. All right, we are unprotected here. It needs to be very careful. It looks like it's got good visibility. I'm just kind of, all these cars coming out here in the gaps were flashing yellow. Okay, and the light stopped it up there. So we should be able to go perfectly here right after that car. And it did it just fine. Railroad tracks here. We got a car in front of us to slow us down just a bit. So we didn't slow down for the railroad tracks as much as I think we slowed down for that car. If you look on the map here, these stop signs are new for this narrow unmarked roads. I do have a car right behind me, so I also am not going to probably be able to let this go if it does some silly stuff, because he is really on my tail. All right, so we'll stop here, and it needs to do a creep. And it's clear, and it proceeded. All right, speed bumps are probably going to be the first thing we look at here. And there's a speed bump coming up here, 25, 26, and it did not decelerate at all for that. So missed the first speed bump. That was not what we wanted. Did not slow for speed bump. All right, and here we got another stop and a creep with another speed bump. Doesn't look like we're going to have any traffic on this one. I might need to do a couple legs on the narrow roads test. Other testers have said there's been no change here, so I'm not expecting anything to really change. Another speed bump, kind of hidden here, 28, 28. Okay. All right. Yeah. Did not slow for speed bump. All right. Now here's where we got an oncoming car, and this is that double lane crossing here. And I got a car behind me. Okay, I got to press the accelerator, mostly for the car behind me. It's just being too rude and waiting too long. I tapped the accelerator twice there to get it to go through the intersection. I know that that's probably not what we wanted to do in that scenario, and I really couldn't wait. Here's the third speed bump, and it's not even slowing down a hint. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and go back on this same route here and get some more narrow roads. Be right back. Okay, we're back, and I'm going to engage very quickly here as I've got an oncoming car. There's my pay attention to the road, and my steering wheel is pointed straight towards him. And now look, it's going out into the middle. Okay, this is ridiculous. Okay, this car is not comfortable with what I'm doing. He was slowing down because I was doing complete S-turns there in the middle of the road. And that warning was because I'm over on the edge of the drivable space and it wasn't comfortable with how close I was. So that was not exactly what you want to see. So I'm going to try to engage here again at this stop sign. I do have another car behind me, so I'm not really getting exactly what I want here to where I can let the car go. Here I am at the stop sign. Is it going to creep and go? And look, oh, look at the car up there in front. He's waiting. Now I'm going. Oh, look at this. I wonder if he's doing full self-driving testing. Okay, and another stop sign. So I don't know that person, but the way that car is behaving, he's got his hazards on. He may be doing some full self-driving testing. That's interesting. That's the first Tesla I've seen on this road. I'm manually driving at the moment because I'm going to turn around after this car gets off my rear. And it's not comfortable doing this testing with a car right behind you because they really want to go about 30 miles an hour down this road. And I just can't do that with them there, especially after the way it's behaving. Heck, Tesla's still got his hazards on down there. That's interesting. Maybe something happened. Where it stopped was exactly where I thought the car would have stopped had I been had FSD engaged with an oncoming car coming through that intersection. So I'm going to go ahead and do a U-turn here and set it back up. Be right back. All right, here we go again. I don't have anybody behind me at the moment, so pay attention to the road. So as soon as you turn it on, I get to pay attention to the road, a little bit of blue. You know, it's kind of hard to give the tug perfectly every single time. So I'm not sure if half of that is me or half of it's the new system. Out in the middle of the road before it commits, very slowly committing. Okay, and an oncoming car, and stopped. And a slow creep. And you see the wheel starting to turn? It should not be going to the middle of the road until after the car passes. Now that time it slowed for the median, so it was going slow enough to see that. That was interesting. I said median, I meant speed bump. So here I am, I feel like I'm in the middle of the road. I need to get over to the right in case a car needed to turn right here. So I'm blocking the road. I'm basically pretending like I own the whole road here as I stop at the stop sign, which is not the right thing either. All right, let's see if it catches this speed bump on this one. 26, 28, 29, and I'm 30. It didn't slow down for it at all. It was slowing for the stop sign here. All right, nobody behind me this time, so this double intersection confuses it. I do have a car coming from the right. Big truck here. What's it gonna do? Look at this mapped path. It just goes straight. Now I'm just slowly crawling into the road here. There's plenty of width in this intersection. And look, that car had to go around me. I'm completely uncomfortable. Look how far it is from the right edge of the road. It's in the middle at the moment. It won't go to the right. So this version, holiday release or not, okay, no speed bump behavior. Did not slow for speed bump. All right, well, I think that's the last of those I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and just re-engage here and let it do this pay attention to the road. So that's the initial warning. This is the intersection with the suicide lane in the middle. that it can use, but unprotected left turns have never really successfully used suicide lanes. Okay, it needs to wait. Don't go, don't go. Gosh, it went out into the road there. Don't go. Okay, I think it's waiting on cars from the right and the left here. Yeah, because it doesn't know how to use the median here. And you can even see it through the... Okay, it was jumping out. All right, I have to take over here. It jumped out in front of that car. Maybe it could have made it, but it would have had to give a significant commit. So, all right, well, I am going to take this back to the FSD return location. I'm going to go ahead and engage. It is engaged here, which is going to be a left turn at a light and then use another narrow road. But the other narrow road has got a nice... it's not the way I wanted it to go. I want it to remap to take this left-hand turn. See if I can get it to do it again now that I'm here. Oh, all right. I do have the alternate route though, so I'm going to go ahead and tap that alternate route. That's another thing in the holiday update that came, is these alternate routes. All right, pay attention to the road. This is a green unprotected forward facing. It should go right now, no problem. Forward facing did just fine. All right, so this narrow road used to very early on have problems. Slow down for that car unnecessarily, meaning like he was just coming out, but he wasn't going into our lane at all. Parked mail truck on the other side shouldn't behave. He's got his hazards on. If there was an oncoming car, it would have been interesting to see how it handled any traffic. But okay, what do I generally like about this release? I generally like some of the UI features. I like the red put on my blinker cameras to tell me if there's somebody in the zone. I do personally like that. It takes another distance estimation out of my head, you know, because when I turn the blinkers on, you know, I've got the cameras. I don't have them in the FSD mode, but sometimes judging distance in those cameras is a little bit difficult. So I like the red being there doing the distance measuring for me. I like the alternate routes that have been added. I do like the speedlight cameras and the addition of the stop signs and the stop lights on the map. I think that's great. We caught up to the production branch, so a lot of these features have been out in production for a while, but actually bringing us all up to 2023.44 caught us up to the production branch. As far as FSD goes, I think this internal cabin camera monitoring is the only change. You know, you get a primary pay attention to the road warning every time you engage. At least every time I engage, I get one. Depending on the tension I have on the wheel, I get some blue. I think that it's a very minor nag change. I think it's okay for what they're trying to accomplish and make NHTSA happy. So I think that that's a little bit of a concession, perhaps, to make a software change. It is a little ridiculous. They called it a recall for 2 million vehicles. The brand damage that happens by issuing recalls like that for people that just don't understand. I can't tell you how many emails and texts I got of the Reuters article or the Verge article or whoever was talking about how, my Tesla had been recalled and was I aware of it. All right, we do have some pedestrians here, VRUs, playing out in the yard. Very careful there. It did a good job mapping them. Slow. I'm going 10 miles an hour. That was good. We're still waiting on version 12. I haven't heard anything with regards to it being released. There haven't been any hints of employees getting a new version, which probably means they're iterating, adding data to the data sets. For those of you that keep up with all of my videos, I have not seen the Tesla 8S drivers in my neighborhood since they were there a few months ago. So that initial training set, perhaps they were adding some turn data in there, but I have not seen them back since. So maybe that means they got it working, or maybe that means they just got the clips in there and they're gonna, try to gather more data later. I don't know. Maybe they'll use my data after it completes and gets distributed. All right, we've got a VRU on the other side. Shouldn't do anything other than map it. She's out in the road, not even marking her blue. All right, this intersection is always interesting. It's a I got a green light too though, so it's not going to be interesting here. It should go over the railroad tracks relatively slow, and it just rolled, and that light turned red, and it decided to roll the red light. I don't think it actually sees that light once it's down the hill. I think it kind of goes up at an angle that it doesn't see it very well, or it doesn't honor it. It never does. It should have stopped there. Well, that was pretty quick and dirty. Looking at my camera here, I've got about 22 minutes of filming, so that's about the right length. I know last time I did a 40-minute. Some of you guys hung out the whole time. I really appreciate that. But hey, for those of you that are still here watching at the 20+ minute point, thank you. Merry Christmas. You know, go ahead and send a happy holidays or Merry Christmas, or if you don't celebrate any of them, just say hey in the comments. I appreciate that. It kind of gives me a gauge of engagement towards the end of the videos, how many people enjoy the conversation. And I'll put out another video on the next release. I'll keep doing this drive. Give me other feedback on things you want me to incorporate in the drive. I didn't go on the highway this time. I just did the narrow roads, the unprotected left, the U-turn, and then just some things along the way with the speed bumps. I'm not impressed with narrow roads. I don't think it got worse, but it definitely did not get any better. Unprotected left was fine. That unprotected right-hand turn right at the beginning of the video was not very good. So we are where we are. So we are going to get our final turn here. This is going to be a forward-facing unprotected left. It usually does these pretty good, but it's got no gap here that I'm comfortable with. It's got a small gap after this. It should go for it right here. Wasn't that small, but it did it just fine. That's it. Happy holidays, everybody. Hopefully you enjoy the video. Take care. Bye-bye.